After a brief glimpse of George Cannon in Dartmoor Prison, Edwin and Hilda have returned to the Five Towns.
Oh, good evening to you, madam. Good evening.
Good evening, Simpson. Is Mr. Clayhanger?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, missus.
Oh, George, you needn't stay in here. Well, can I go into the engine room then?
No, you can't. It's all shut up.
No, it isn't. Pratt's still there.
All right.
Hooray! Shut the door! Oops.
Look here, infant. I'm supposed to be busy.
I've just had this by the afternoon post. Read it.
Dear Mrs. Clayhanger, just a line to say that my husband is at last discharged. It has been weary waiting. We are together, and I am looking after him. With renewed thanks for your sympathy and help, believe me, sincerely yours, Charlotte M. Canonge.
So it's over. We can begin again.
Well, that's all right. I didn't always tell you it would take time.
It's a strange letter, isn't it?
What makes you say that?
Well, read it again.
It's the letter of a very jealous woman who's got what she wants and is going to keep it.
Very curt, isn't it? After all this time, too.
That letter is exactly what it ought to be. It couldn't possibly have been better turned. You don't want to keep it, I suppose, do you? And burn all the others.
You'll be staying here long?
No. I told you I should be working late. There's a lot of work to do. But if you run off, I'll be with you in an hour.
Is your headache better?
No, on the other hand, it isn't worse.
Kiss me. Have to call in at Clara's about that wool for Maggie.
I thought you didn't like calling at Clara's.
Oh, well, Maggie asked me to, and I like Maggie. You know I do.
I'll bring the kid up.
Will you? Just an hour, then?
Yes. J. Ardley, £1 3 and 6p, Camion 19 shillings. R. Careythorne, 1 guinea. Oh, that woman will kill me. But without her, I couldn't be bothered to live.
Yes, poor old auntie. She's always been a wonderful woman.
Yes, she has.
Oh, yes. So sudden, too.
It couldn't have been more sudden.
Right enough there. Just sat down to tea we had. She was sitting at the table. We just that minute started tea.
I wonder what had happened for a moment or two. I thought to myself, she swallowed something the wrong way. That's what she's done.
But she hadn't.
No. Well, then I could see she was fighting for breath. Auntie, I said. What's the matter, Auntie?
She couldn't talk.
No. It was quite dreadful to watch. We loosened her dress and we laid her down, but she only seemed to get worse. Fetch a doctor, I said.
So I said to Bert, run round to Dr. Forbes in Acre Lane.
He's the nearest doctor, is Dr. Forbes.
Go round there, I said. Tell him to come at once. Tell him your auntie's having a heart attack.
Poor Auntie. And it was so dreadful, of course, that the children were there. Oh, they were frightened, poor little dears. If only they'd been at their dancing class.
No, Clary, they've given up dancing class. We've agreed to that.
Oh, yes, I know. Only if they had been at dancing, they wouldn't have seen Auntie. That's all I said, Albert.
Well, they've learned quite enough dancing. The money that woman charges now.
Oh, I know, Albert. I know. All I said
Even
was
if they
that...
had been at dancing class, they'd still have had to have had their tea.
Yes. But not at that time.
Well, let's leave it, shall we?
Whatever you say.
Oh, hello, Wilbur. Oh, I didn't know you were here. Just, called in for your wool.
I could have given that wool to Auntie, Maggie.
I didn't know Auntie was calling. She didn't tell me. The first I knew Auntie was here was when he sent Bert round to tell me she was ill. Didn't even say she'd be out for tea.
What's the doctor saying?
He says he'll stay with her, but there's not much he can do. I'm afraid she's very ill.
So she mustn't be moved?
Well, no. She'll have to stay here.
Yes.
But what about you, Clara? Where shall you sleep?
Oh, I shall be all right.
But you're meant to rest yourself. You know you are. The doctor said so.
There's nothing very much the matter with me.
What's the matter, Clara? I didn't know you were ill.
Oh, it's one of those things, you know. He said Clary must be careful.
I don't see any call to talk about it.
Does Edwin know about Auntie?
Oh, he's, still at the works.
Still at the works, it's past 7.
Yes, but he's very busy just now.
Is he indeed?
How nice. Things seem very slack elsewhere in the towns.
Not slack, Clary, just going through a phase.
Oh, yes. Bound to pick up soon.
Well, I do think Edwin should be told.
Yes. I'll go round to the works and tell him right now.
Simpson, shut the outer door. And this one, too. Were you waiting to see me?
Yes, the clerk said you mustn't be disturbed and asked me to wait. Then he went out.
What can I do for you? It's really after hours, but some of us are working a bit late.
I'm George Cannon.
Will you come in, please? Simpson, I'm engaged.
Yes, sir.
Sit down. You needn't be afraid. Nobody can hear. Unless you shout.
Did she recognize me? Down there? Dartmoor?
Yes.
I wasn't sure. We were halted before I could see, and I daren't look round. I should have been punished. I've been punished before now for looking up at the sky at exercise. However, I've not come all the way here to talk prisons, so you needn't be afraid. I'm not one of your reformers.
She was right to feel pity for him. And he's still attached to her, poor devil.
What have you come for?
You know all about it. About my affair, of course.
Well, I expect you know how much I know.
I'm an honest man, you know that. I don't have to begin by explaining that to you.
You weren't honest towards Hilda, if it comes to that.
When I say honest, I mean... You know what I mean. About Hilda, I don't defend that. Only I couldn't help myself. I dare say I should do it again. Well, it's no use talking about that. That's over. She's come out of it all right. She's not harmed, and I thank God for it. If there'd been a child living, well, now, that would be different. What I mean is, I am an honest man. I have been damnably treated. Yeah, not that I want to go on about that. No, I'm a fatalist. That's over. That's done with. I'm not whining. All I am insisting is that I'm not a thief, and I am not a forger, and I have nothing to hide. I've just done 6 good years for being innocent. I never did anything wrong, or even silly. Except let myself get too fond of somebody. Well, that could happen to anyone, and it did happen to me, but there's nothing else, you understand?
Yes, certainly.
Nobody has the right to look down on me, is what I mean. On the contrary, this country owes me an apology. However, that's done with. Spilt milk's spilt. I know what the world is.
I agree. I agree.
Yes. Well, to cut it short, I want help. And I've come to you for it.
Me?
You, Mr. Clayhanger. I've come straight here from London. I haven't got a friend in the whole world, not one. It's not everybody that can say that. And I'm well aware that you're not a friend of mine. I've no claim on you. You don't know me. But you do know about me. When I saw you in Dartmoor, I guessed who you were. And I said to myself, you look like the sort of a man that might help another man. Why did you come to the prison? Why did you bring her there? You must have known that I was there.
Didn't bring her there. It was... However, we needn't go into that if you don't mind.
Was she upset?
Of course. What do you want me to do?
Money. Money. You won't feel it, but it'll save me. After all, Mr. Clayhanger, there is a bond between us, if it comes to that. There is a bond between us. And you've had all the luck of it.
But surely your wife, surely Mrs. Cannon, Mrs. Cannon...
Mrs. Cannon, that's the
surely
English.
Mrs. Cannon isn't without funds. I know she was short a little while back,
How
but
do you
surely...
know she was a little short?
My wife sent her £10. I fancy it was £10 towards expenses, you know.
Never told me.
I've always understood she was a woman of property.
Mr. Clayhanger, I have left my wife, as you call her. If I'd stayed with her, I should have killed her. I ran off. Oh, I know what she's done for me. I know that without her, I should probably be in prison today and for a couple of years to come, but I'd sooner be in prison. Or in hell, or anywhere else you like, than with Mrs. Cannon. She's an old woman! She always was an old woman. She was nearly 40 when she hooked me, and I was 22, and I'm young yet. I'm not middle-aged yet. Well, she's got a clear conscience as Mrs. Cannon. She always does her duty. She'd let me walk over her and never complain. If she could only keep me, she'd just play and smile. Oh, yes, she'd turn the other cheek and keep on turning it, but she's not going to have me. And for all she's done for me, I'm not grateful. Hag, that's what she is. All right. All right, but look here. You're a man, you know what's what. You'll understand what I mean. Believe me when I say I wouldn't stay with that woman for eternal salvation. I couldn't do it. I've taken some of her money, only a little, and I've run off. Now, I've only just got here. I had to ask your whereabouts. I might have been recognized in the streets, but I haven't been. I didn't expect to find you here at this hour. I might have had to spend the night in the town. Oh, I wouldn't have gone to your private house. But now that I have seen you, I shall get along to Crewe tonight. I shall be safer there. And it's on the way to Liverpool and America. I want to go to America. With a little bit of capital, I shall be all right there. It's my one chance, but it's a good one. But I must have some capital. No use landing in New York with empty pockets. Oh, no, I can tell you that's no use at all.
I was under the impression you'd been to America once.
Yes, I have. That's how I know. I hadn't any money. And what's more, I was brought back to face a bigamy charge.
Excuse me a second.
Auntie Hamps has had an attack. Heart. The doctor says she can't possibly live through the night. It was at Clara's.
Ah, so that's it, is it? Then she's at Clara's.
Yes.
Have you seen her?
Yes, they made me.
I suppose I'd better go round. You go back and I'll follow you.
I must speak to you.
No, there's someone in there. Can't talk there.
Customer?
Yes. I say, Simpson, have you done those letters?
Yes, sir.
Take them to the pillar, then call round at Mr. Benbow's and tell them I'll be about a quarter of an hour. I don't know that you need come back. Hurry up. Yes, sir.
Whatever's the matter with you?
Matter? Nothing. Come on.
You look so queer.
Well, you come along with these shocks.
You look queer when you came out.
You've upset yourself, my child, that's all.
Edwin, who's in there?
Don't I tell you, it's a customer.
It's George Cannon in there.
What makes you feel that?
As I was walking through the town, I noticed somebody. He was talking to the fishmonger. Of course, I couldn't see him properly, but then, as I was walking on, I said to myself, it looks like George Cannon. And then I said to myself, no, of course it couldn't be. And then with all this business about Auntie Hamps, the idea went right out of my head.
Well, it is, if you want to know.
Ooh. Did you know he was coming?
No, I did not. Hadn't the least notion. Now, you aren't going in there.
What does he want?
He wants me to help him go to America.
You?
He says he hasn't a friend.
What about his wife?
That's what I said. He's left her. Says he can't live with her.
Can't live with her? Well, I'm not surprised. But I do think it very strange, him coming to see you.
So do I. But there are a lot of strange things in this world. Now listen here. I'm not going to keep him waiting. I can't. Find George and take him home at once.
I do think it very wrong you should be asked to help him. Shall you help him, Edwin?
I shall get him out of this town and out of the country. Now, do as I say. As things are, he doesn't know there is any George, and it's just as well he shouldn't. But if he stays anywhere about, he's bound to know. Now, off you go. George is in the engine house.
No one but you would have helped him in your place.
Are you going to help me?
Yes, I'll do what I can. What do you want?
£100.
I can't let you have it all now.
Well, could you send it to me? In notes. I can give you an address in Liverpool.
Wait a second. Here. Here's £20. Take the bag too, it'll be handier. Write the address on the envelope, will you? I'll send you 100 tomorrow. You can rely on it.
You mean 80?
No, 100. 20 will get you over, and you'll have 100 clear when you get to the other side.
You're very kind.
Yeah, here's the envelope. Here's a bit of pencil.
You get it all back, you see.
That's all right, don't you worry, I don't want it. You owe me nothing.
You'll get every penny back. And before too long.
Well, Good luck. You'll get to Crewe, all right. There's a train from Shawport at 8:07.
Who'd have thought it?
They say these chaps always turn up again like bad pennies. But I bet he won't.
Has he gone? How much did you give him?
That's all right. Don't you worry about that.
Ada's just putting the dishes out.
I'll just go to the bathroom.
How's Auntie Habs?
Well, if anything, she's a bit easier. I don't mind betting she gets over it.
Now Edwin's seen George Cannon. And George Cannon's gone. He's been bribed and he's gone. Nobody else in the world would have helped him, but Edwin did. I owe everything I have in the world to him.
Thank you, Ada. Is Auntie dying?
What are those school books doing there on the sideboard? I thought it was clearly understood that you would do your lessons in your mother's boudoir.
Mother put them there.
Well, you can take them away. Run along. School books aren't books. Don't I always say that? They're merely an eyesore.
All right, so it was my mistake. But does he have to be such an autocrat? I'd never behave like that to him. Would you like carrots and mushrooms, dear?
Yes, please. Thank you, lad.
We're not equals, are we? How can we be? He commands and it's done. In the end, I must listen to him because I earn no money. I am a parasite.
Thank you, dear.
Would you like carrots and mushrooms, George?
Just carrots, please.
There was a time when I could say, I shall go to London. I shall leave London now. I'm deceived and I'm ruined. But I own myself. Of course I don't want to leave him. But even if I did, I'm a captive now.
All right for both of you? Jolly
Very
nice.
good.
Well, yes, I submit. Of course I do. And I'm still quite young. I'm only 36. Next year I shall be only 37. Then 38. Then 39. I shall never submit.
What you doing?
Scraping off the writing.
What for?
It's a pretty card. She told me yesterday to throw them all out. No, Ada, throw them out. You know, that voice of hers. You seem daft to me.
Don't know what reminding them of her.
How old is she, do you reckon?
Well, no checking any rate up. 40, I'd say. She tries not to play the part, but I can tell.
She's 39.
Well, not so far right.
She never looked no different to me. Well, she's second out about, I suppose. And her chin started to go.
I wish mine had just started.
She takes care, you know. But if she can't, who can?
Well, what else has she got to do with herself? One man and one kid she's to look after, and she's got you and me to do most of that. What does the writing say?
A happy birthday to my dear elder from Auntie. Mrs. Amps, that is.
She's a tough hag and all. Thought she were dying 3 years ago. Heart attack she had.
I remember.
Takes more than an heart attack to kill off her. I hear she's had 6 or 7 since then. The good uns like me will kick off at 50. If I last that blasted long, that is.
I shall give this to me cousin. It's her birthday next week.
Where is she, do you know?
She's in a boudoir. I saw her go in when Master went back to work.
I think I could manage another drop. Best not let her see me fetch it, though.
What about the washing up?
What about it?
It's got to be done.
I know it has. I'm just getting a bottle to give me strength. Not against it, have you?
I'm just saying, that's all.
I thought for a minute she was ordering me a bite.
If you want a drink, you have it.
I shall.
But I won't have you leaving the work to me.
You won't have. You won't
No,
have.
I won't. So there.
Oh, anybody would think as you was mistress here.
I've been here longer than you have.
Sight too long.
And what's that meant to mean?
If I were put on the way you were, I'd have moved myself out of here years ago.
I haven't noticed you in a hurry to go.
Well, it won't be much longer the way she carries on. Come funny with me just one more time. I'll have me name steers before she can spit. I can find myself a position any time.
Huh.
I blasted can.
It was pushed from the last one as I heard it.
You watch your blasted tongue, me girl. Us all knows about you. Tied to her apron strings you are. You'd be frightened to death to shift yourself out of it. And don't you think her doesn't know it too? Why do you think her treads all over you?
You shut your great big ugly mouth.
Oh, listen to Miss Beauty talk.
Go and swill yourself with beer.
Well, if I want, I blasted shall.
So blasted do. And I'm not doing your blasted washing up.
Eliza?
Yes, Mum?
You, haven't forgotten that, Mr. Inkpen's coming to dinner?
No, Mum. Oh, sorry, Mum, I slept. Sorry, Mum, I slept.
Have you been drinking?
No, Mum.
I can see you've been drinking. Now, don't lie to me.
Well, what's if I have? It's my beer, ain't it?
I don't care whose it is. I do not allow my servants to have alcohol. Not while they're on duty, anyhow.
Oh, don't you now, don't you now?
Will you please not use that voice to me?
I'm not using no voice, I'm using my own.
Show me your room.
Huh?
I wish to see your room. Take me there at once.
It's your room, not mine. You know where it is.
Please do as I say. I wish to see your room.
My room.
It is quite disgusting. I suppose you realise that. And what's that supposed to mean?
You'd be disgusting yourself if you lived in here.
It is your responsibility to see that this room is kept clean.
Oh, is it now? And when am I supposed to do that, if you don't mind me asking? I'm working every hour that God sent us, it is.
Please do not be insolent.
Don't be insolent. You're so blasted hoity-toity you are. And all this because I like a bottle of beer. I need a bottle of beer. What's the matter with having a bottle of beer? Look, there's more of them here if you want to see. Look here then, look here. What do you want me to give you, a bottle or what? Here you are, have a bottle. Come on. Us will have a party. Sing and dance, eh? Us old girls will have a party.
I think it will be best if you leave at once. Please pack your trunk and leave at once. I shall do the cooking myself for tonight, Ada, and I shall expect you to help me by preparing the vegetables. Now, hurry along with that sieve. That should have been done by now. Then you take out the carrots and start on those. I think it was very wrong of you not to have told me about Eliza's drinking. You may have thought I was loyal to her, but that was not so. It was disloyal to me. Disloyal and secretive it was. You're always hiding things from me, Ada. I think it's very wrong of you. I haven't forgotten that I once had to give you notice. And you shouldn't forget that it was concern for you that led me into withdrawing it. Oh, yes, this is a good piece of meat. We shall have it properly cooked for a change, and the fish too. It is your mistress and not your fellow servants that matter the most to you, Ada. You remember that, if you want to get on. Now do hurry along with that, Silver. Ooh. See the pace at which this kitchen usually works. Oh, no, 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 no. You'll have to rub that one again. Look at the mark you've left up there. Oh, you have the makings of a good servant, Ada. Loyalty and hard work. That's what you need. Oh, yes. I think that between us we shall manage perfectly well. Why that cook made such a fuss about something so straightforward, can't possibly think. Well, it's time this house was reorganized, and I shall do more. Oh, yes, I shall. For one thing, I shall have new clothes. Oh, I look old, old, old. Do I? I don't know. And Edwin shall have new clothes. He's beginning to slouch. He must stand up straight. He could be mayor of this town if he wanted to be. He hasn't even gone on the council yet. Well, he shall do. I shall see to that. And why shouldn't I be mayoress? I could certainly set an example to some. When I think what we suffered to come together. And it's all so... Well, we shall live in the country. I've quite decided that. Out of the soot, out of the grime, out of filthy Trafalgar Road, 10 miles from the Benbows and from Auntie Hamps, where servants are servants, and there's space and air. Somewhere just like Tavy Mansion. Somewhere where we can really start a new life. I shall drive Edwin to the station in a dog cart. Or right into Bursley if I want to shop. Oh, no, I would never shop in Bursley. Shop in Oldcastle, of course. I should be active, busy, dignified, elegant, influential, and kind. I should make his life a miracle. Oh, how I wish he'd come home right now.
Can I speak to you, Mum?
What is it, Ada?
It's,
What is it, Ada? And where's your apron and cap?
in the kitchen, Mum.
Yes, will you go and put them on and then come up here and say what you have to say?
I was thinking I'd better give you notice, Mum.
What's the matter now?
There's no pleasing you, Mum. The way you talked to me in the kitchen, saying I was always a-hiding things from you. I felt it very much.
Shall I tell you what's wrong with you, Ada? You're a little fool. And you know you'll never get a better place than you have here, but you get an idea into your head, and there you are. Oh, now, do be sensible. You say you want to give notice. Think it over before you do anything ridiculous. Sleep on it. We'll see how you feel in the morning.
I think I'd better give notice, especially saying as I'm a fool and silly.
So, you would leave me without a maid and with Christmas coming on, and that's all the thanks I get for what I've done for you?
Well, Mum, we've had such a queer lot of girls here lately, haven't we? 5 cooks in 3 years we've had here now, and some of them very queer. I don't hardly care to stay. I feel we should both be better for a change, like.
Very well, Ada. I shan't take you back again, whatever happens.
Can I leave at once, Mum, same as cook?
And may I inquire where you'd go? At this time of night, you can't possibly go home to your parents.
Oh, I could go to me cousin's up at Toft Road, and could send down a lad with a barrow for me box.
I suppose you realise you're forfeiting the wages due to you the day after tomorrow?
I shall ask my cousin about that, Mum.
I should. I certainly should.
So those will see as I have me rights.
That will do, Ada. Go and pack your box. Servants do not understand kindness. That's it. I taught her. I made friends with her. Look, I nursed her when she was ill. I shared secrets with her. I asked her advice. I liked her. I liked her. Oh. How could she do this to me? How could she? Oh. And a fine lot of sympathy I'll get from him.
What next? Surely she knows how to organise this house dinner.
Oh, I'm glad you lighted it. Have you seen anything of George?
Of course I haven't seen George.
But he's not back from school yet, and I can't help wondering...
There's no light on the landing either. I wish you'd see to these servants of yours.
As it happens, there aren't any servants.
Aren't any servants? What do you mean?
Well, I found the attic full of beer bottles. I sent her off on the spot.
Sent who off?
Eliza.
What about Ada?
She's gone too.
Why?
She seemed to want to. And she was very impertinent about it, too.
Well, it's your affair.
It is.
I told her this would happen. I told her it would. She's always saying how soft I am with people at work. She thinks they laugh at me. She thinks they think I'm a simpleton. At least I don't lose my entire working staff in one afternoon. There's 1 million domestic servants in this blessed country, and not one of them works less than 100 hours a week. And nobody cares. Do I even really care myself? Now the old house will be all upset and see. It's quite obvious. It's all her fault.
I wish you'd go out and look for George.
Oh, he'll be all right. I suppose you haven't forgotten Ingpen's coming tonight?
No, of course I haven't forgotten. I shall send for Mrs. Tams.
Mrs. Tams?
Yes, she'll come.
If she's doing nothing else.
Well, of course she's doing nothing else. She always comes to help me out when there's a problem, and she needs the money. You know she does. I wish you'd go out and look for George.
How can I look for him? I wouldn't know where to begin.
Well, you know, he went out on his bicycle.
Well, he'd be quite safe with it. He's a very good bicyclist.
No, I'm not so sure about that. The roads are very greasy tonight. Anything could have happened. I really do want you to go out and look for George.
Oh, damn!
George! Oh, backside the rubber nugs. You said you'd bring it.
George, have you had an accident?
An accident?
Now, don't play the fool! Have you fallen off your bike? Look at your new overcoat, and don't leave your satchel there.
Mother made me take my overcoat. You know I can't cycle in my overcoat. I haven't been on my bike all day. My lamp's broken.
Where is your bike now?
In the shed, of course.
Then why are you so late?
Kept in.
All this time? What for?
Latin.
Homework again? Haven't you done it properly?
I had a headache last night and I've got one today.
Another of your Latin headaches? You didn't seem to have much of a headache when you came in.
Well, I just forgot a minute, that's all. It's my eyes. I told you these specs would never suit me, but you wouldn't believe me. Headmaster wouldn't believe me. And what's the good of telling you anything if you only think I'm codding?
I am going to take George to London tomorrow about his eyes.
To London?
Yes, well, it's no use half doing these things. I shall ask Charlie Orgreave to recommend me a first-class oculist. Wouldn't have that boy's eyesight played with for anything.
Well, of course you wouldn't, who would?
Well, go and see what he's doing.
Go to London tomorrow? What's wrong with Birmingham? Or Manchester? Go to London? Well, we shall see about that. We shall just see about that. Luke! Don't you worry about those eyes. We shall do something there. We shall make sure you see a first-class specialist. We shall take you to Birmingham or Manchester. Feel like doing us a service?
Don't mind.
Run round to Mrs. Tams. You know, the woman who came round when we lost the last coup. Ask her if she can come round tonight. Help your mother out.
Go now, Nancy.
Mrs. Tams. What rate have we got to drag her out at this time of night? Why should she stop whatever she's doing, leave her husband and family to fend for themselves and come here to do our washing up? Because she needs the money, of course.
Well, I've had some pretty good meals in this house, but this is certainly the best bit of fish I ever tasted. So the catastrophe of the kitchen leaves me unmoved.
That's right. Oh, I do like praise.
So, now then, you callous brute, what do you say?
Oh, Edwin never praises me.
Yes, I do.
No, he's too wrapped up in his works to think of praising his wife.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Teddy, I heard a rumour you've been asked to stand for the town council in the South Ward. Why didn't you?
Who told you that tale?
It was about.
Never came from me.
Yes, well, he was asked to stand, but he wouldn't. I thought he ought to. I begged him to, but no, he wouldn't. And do you know, he refused a JP ship too.
Oh, that sort of thing's not my line.
Oh, isn't it? Well, whose line is it, then?
Look at all the rotters in the council.
All the more reason why you should be on it.
Well, I've got no time.
I'll tell you what's the matter with you, old man. You may not know it, but you're in a groove. You've become a good example of the generous, domesticated businessman. You've forgotten what life is. I mean, you fancy you're at full stretch all the time, but you're in a coma. Well, I suppose you'll never see 40 again. And have you ever been outside this island? You went to Llandudno this year because you went last year. And you'll go next year because you went this year. And if you should happen now and again to worry about the failure of your confounded Liberal Party, then you think you're a good, broad-minded fellow. But I mean, where are your musical evenings? And I asked you to come with me to a concert in Manchester last week, but one, you thought I'd gone dotty. Simply because it meant you're leaving your works early and not getting to bed until the unheard of hour of 1:30 a.m.
I never heard anything about any concert.
Go on. Go on.
Oh, I will. I mean, damn it, you haven't got a vice left. I mean, a vice would interfere with your lovely litho. There's only one thing would upset you more than a machinery breakdown at the works.
What's that?
What's that? What if one of the hinges of your garden gate came off, or if you lost your latchkey? Well, look how you've evidently been struck all of a heap by this servant affair. It probably occurred to you that your breakfast might be 5 minutes late in the morning.
Struck all of a heap, indeed.
Wasn't he, Hilda?
Of course he was.
Yeah.
I know thinks it's my fault.
Oh, it's the usual thing. I never heard of a happy marriage yet that didn't end in the same way.
Happy marriage, he calls it.
No, I don't see what marriage has to do with it.
No, of course you don't.
Well, no, if you'd said business...
Now we have the diagnosis. What's the prescription?
Oh,
I mean, you live much too close to your infernal works. Why don't you get right away and live in the country like a sensible man instead of being stuck in this filthy hole?
Hooray! At last I've got somebody on my side.
Of course, you'll say you couldn't. You naturally would.
Of course he would. Just like he thinks it's impossible to get to London tomorrow.
London?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to go to London for?
About George's spectacles. They don't suit him at all. They give him headaches. Edwin would have me take him to the local man. What's his name? At Hanbridge. I was afraid it would be risky, but Edwin would have it. No. I'm taking him to London. It's been going on far too long as it is. He hasn't said a word. Don't you think it's best to go to London?
Oh, chief thing in these cases is to satisfy the maternal instinct.
Oh, you're horrid.
Yes, I should go to London tomorrow. But what will happen to his worship with no servants in the house?
I'm hoping he'll come with us.
That'll shake him up.
I'm afraid that's quite out of the question.
Why is it out of the question?
Because I can't go. I mean, why do you have to go tomorrow? What does a day or two matter?
I'll tell you why it matters. I will not take chances with my child's eyesight. It's been going on far too long as it is. And how do you know a day won't make any difference? It might make all the difference in the world.
Anyway, I can't go to London tomorrow.
Then what shall you do while I'm away?
I don't know.
Why does he sit there being so damn smug?
Why London? Why tomorrow?
Ask me another.
Well, we shall see.
Oh, yes, we shall. When we're alone tonight, we shall have this thing out. He'll soon see who wins the battles in this house.
Hey, Mother's going to take me to London tomorrow to see about my eyes. We're going to stay with Uncle Charles and Auntie Janet. And she says she's going to take me to the Egyptian Hall. Isn't it topping? Oh, Auntie Maggie's here.
Maggie?
Maggie's here.
Hello, Mags.
Good evening, Miss Clayhanger.
Auntie Amps is being naughty again. I can't do anything with her. She's bound to let herself in for another attack if she doesn't take care of herself. And she won't take care of herself. She won't listen to the doctor or anybody else. She's always on her feet. And she's got sewing meetings on the brain just now. I've got her to bed early tonight. She's frightfully shaky, and I thought I'd come up and tell you. You're the only one that can do anything with her at all, and you really must come and see her tomorrow on your way to the works.
All right. All right, I'll drop in. Only I've got no influence over her.
Oh, yes, you have. I'm very sorry to hear about George's eyes. Seeing it's absolutely necessary for Hilda to take him to London tomorrow, and you've got no servants at all, can't you come and sleep at Auntie's for a night or two? You've no idea what a relief it'd be to me.
Think you might, dear? I asked him to come. Could have been the start of our new life. Not that I would expect him to see that. Well, I'm going to London.
Mother, do I have to wear this suit? You know I don't like it.
Of course you like it. Don't be foolish now. Are our things on the cab?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good thing, anyway. I'll give your regards to Janet and Charlie, shall I?
Of course.
I shall write a note to Auntie Hamps to say when we'll be back. Don't forget to lock up when you go.
I shan't.
Goodbye, then.
Bye, Nunks.
Goodbye.
Come on, George. We'll be late.
Now I'm being turned out of my own house. Why should I tolerate her? There's no reason why. My marriage is finished, that's all there is.
Oh, yes.
There'll be a scandal, of course there will. Well, let there be a scandal. I don't care. She doesn't see what she's doing. She doesn't see it at all.